All right, call this regular meeting of the Board of Finance to order. I've got 7:01 p.m. First item is the Pledge of Allegiance. I ask you all to please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is comments from the public. Are there any comments from the public? Are there any comments from the public? Are there any comments from the public? Hearing none. Next item is bid waiver request. Can I get a motion to approve the bid waiver request from the Director of Finance to purchase the heating oil, diesel, and gasoline from Dime Oil as outlined in the memo sent to us?
So, second.
I got a motion, Mike, and a second, Bill. Jim, anything?
Yeah, I'm actually, well, you tell me how you want to do this. I was going to hold this request in abeyance because, one, I don't have quantities from the Board of Ed, and that's going to be tricky. I don't know if they're working on it or what, because we had a lot of leftover from heating oil last year because one of the schools was shut down, just essentially. But, and also, we've had complaints about delivery from the police department and the DPW. So I talked to them. I think I got it ironed out, but I think I want to wait another month and see how deliveries go before we move on this.
Is it just a month or is it longer than that?
Well, it depends what kind of comments, if any, I get from DPW and the police department about the deliveries.
Okay.
Or
For a particular type of fuel, Jim, or is it?
all three, gas, diesel,
all
and
three?
heating oil.
Okay.
Or, I mean, you can't approve it and just let me, approve it now with you can set parameters, plus or minus 10%, you're okay to go or something like that, but let me exercise at my discretion.
Well, right now, we're just looking at a bid waiver request. So
Oh, yes,
all we would
okay.
do is be authorizing you to not have to go out to bid for this. But we're not saying go out and commit to it right now.
Okay.
We can authorize the bid waiver request should the board deem it valid. And then, should it not be valid or whatever in the opinion of DPW, police, Board of Ed, then we can come back and revisit it.
Okay.
So it's not a commitment to spend, it's just a commitment to a bid waiver request.
Okay. Very good.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Is that, okay.
Yeah, you summed it up better, much better than I did.
So given that, are there more comments, questions from board members?
So would you envision, Jim, next month then you're coming back maybe with specific pricing and the decisions?
Well, that's what I was saying, the specific pricing as of today, or certainly as of yesterday, the heating oil was 2.6, diesel was 2.62, gasoline was 2.4.
Yeah.
I mean, if it goes up, 25 cents in the next few weeks, I won't do anything. I'll wait for it to come back down again. But in 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, if deliveries are going well, I might make a move if there's not too great a fluctuation of price.
My opinion is, and this is my realm, the price isn't going to move all that much. It's going to bounce a little bit up and down and up and down
That's what
over the
it's
next
been over the
month.
last few weeks.
Yeah, it's not going to, I don't anticipate a huge move one way. Now, that being said, I'm seeing market signs that it may start moving up. So I think it'd be in the town's best interest to make a decision within the next month, but not within the next week.
Okay. Yeah, but I don't want to be stuck with we already got the contract for 25, 26. This is for 26, 27.
26, 27, right.
And I don't want to
yeah.
be stuck with a vendor for 2 years that, can't get
Right.
deliveries to
Well,
us.
that's what I'd rather make sure, that we've got a vendor that we trust and can count on.
They said that they got everything worked out. It said it was a past summer for staffing and vacations and all everything else, but they assured me we got an understanding now that they're going to have regular deliveries to both Well, all three places.
Yeah. And I'll take that with a huge grain of salt, that we're gonna commit to a bid waiver pretty soon, too.
Well, I got a pretty good, I speak directly to one of the owners, and I got
Okay.
I got a pretty good relationship with her. You know, other else was dealing with the service department. I called the boss, I think she's the head honcho, and spoke directly to her, and she assured me that everything was smoother going forward.
Okay. But the pricing hasn't been bad. It's just been the
Yeah,
delivery.
that's what you're doing, but the pricing didn't seem advantageous.
No, the pricing looks good from everything I'm seeing, so.
It's pretty similar, it looks pretty similar to last year, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think it's actually less than.
It's
last
like,
year.
yeah.
It should be less slightly than last year. Further questions? Comments? All right, all in favor of approving the bid waiver request, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, that unanimously passes. All right, next, can I get a motion to approve bid waiver request from the IT manager to upgrade the VoIP phone systems at Town Hall from Carousel for $29,472.84.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Bill, second, Chris. Roger.
As was the case in July, the reason for doing the upgrade is not to replace any hardware in the data centers nor the handsets on the desks. It's the software on the back end that needs to be moved to a new server. Current servers are going end of life within a year based on Microsoft's timeline, and we need to move that software off onto new modern servers. Virtual servers, very easy to do. This is the most cost-effective solution currently on the table from the vendor who installed the system at PD, Town Hall, and Human Services. There are economies to be had if we partnered with the school system, however, not at this time. Because of other changes going on in the industry, with Broadcom purchasing VMware, we've had some difficulties in our budget, we will see. So we need to actually save some money for the next fiscal year. That went up on us 148% over last year, our renewal for our VMware licensing. So to try and do a phone system, it's going to cost a heck of a lot more than what Carousel's offering right now, on top of having to move all of our virtual server infrastructure to a completely new platform next year. So we can avoid going from 5,600 to 14,000 as we had to do this year, unexpected. So,
And you're comfortable with this?
absolutely. Reality is, they've told us the hardware is not end of life. It's serviceable for the indefinite future. We can purchase new desk phones that will work on the new system, and the existing ones, fortunately, will work on the new system. So there's no harm there at all. So we can upgrade the servers, which we can then upgrade the software on them for the next 5 years. So even if things go very good for us, we can plan doing a phone system in the future, sooner. But I see some financial difficulties coming with some of the vendors down the line that we need to be prepared for. This is cost effective, it's going to save us a lot of money going this route. It's the way to go.
And presumably Chris is on board?
Yes.
Yeah, you do, Chris.
As a matter of fact, they have some older to them they're older handsets, to us they're newer handsets that were on our client system that we can use as initial replacements for ones that we have in defect.
Okay.
Now, there are other economies we can do in the future, we can look at them separately. There's a lot of changes going on within Town Hall itself. Departments are merging, things are changing. We can look at the individual phone lines, the DID lines, we have a lot of them. So we can work with our vendor Frontier and say, hey, we can maybe go down to a department line, cut out all the individual extensions, save money that way. We'll be looking at that probably come springtime into next fiscal year if we can reduce the amount of DID lines.
Other questions?
Roger, I'm looking at the quote here, and it looks like we have 3 years of managed services included. Is that
Yes,
correct? Okay. So it covers us basically for 3 years.
correct.
Okay.
Other questions? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the bid waiver request as submitted, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, that unanimously passes. Thanks, Roger. And by the way, thanks for figuring out how to get my email to work again.
Just in time for us to loop it all up again.
Yeah, exactly. I'll screw it up again, don't worry. Next, can I get a motion to approve the bid waiver request from DPW for the salt purchase?
So moved.
Second. Motion Bill, second Mike. Tom, you're up.
Okay, this is one we kind of didn't get on last month when we did the 6 or 7 that we did. Usually it's our annual request. This is our annual request tonight. The low bidder in Prague is Lead Salt, it's a company we haven't used before. But the products, I think I've explained this before, they're all very substantially similar. They all require to have 13% mag chloride in them, which will keep, we can go down to about -5, -10 using the products. So we're going to give them a try at the low bid price. It's $89.07 a ton. And last year, we had used Chemical Equipment Labs, it was $92.67, so we're saving $360 a ton this year by using the low bid. Currently, we have basically a full salt shed. We're around 1,500, 2,000 ton in there. Our normal average is 1,400 plus, but the way that the winters have been going, I don't know if we'll use all of that. So hopefully we'll be able to use what we have and maybe get it back to half full, and then we'll have something to get back at the end of the budget year.
Questions?
Is there a minimum delivery required when you order? or-
No, we usually do it like 100 is usually, that's 5 truckloads roughly. So that's, kind of what they like to bring. They'll bring you 50 at a time, a couple of truckloads. If you require 22 ton a truck, we're trying to start with 100. And usually we cut a PL once we see it start to dwindle down
There you go.
in the shed itself. But it's nice to have that capacity. We never had it before. It makes life a lot easier. And like I said, I think the products, at least the ones that I've seen used, they all seem to work about the same. People have a personal preference depending on who you're talking to in different towns. But
Yes, I mean, do we know other towns around the area that have used Lead before? or-
I do not, no. I feel confident that the product will work, but I guess we'll find out. So what we usually do is when we use a new product, we start to mix it in a little bit with the old stuff so that we, kind of work it in, wean ourselves off the element.
Other questions? Tom, they've been around for a while?
Yeah, they're actually, believe it or not, they source the salt out of Egypt. And there's the local one here is Cumberland, Rhode Island, that's where all our loads will come from.
Okay.
It's about the same ride as we get it from New Haven.
From New Haven, yeah.
Terminal, yeah. So, yeah, they had their references all checked out, and, so we went with what the garage says, and of course, if we had to leave, we would. We
Right.
give them our estimate every year, and then they tally it on a sheet, and they come up with basically 18,000 or something tons for all the regional towns, east line, in between us. So.
Other questions? None? All right, all in favor of approving the bid waiver request, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, that unanimously passes. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Next, can I get a motion to approve the bid waiver request from the Police Department for upfit of 3 police cars by Strobes and Moore for $46,625.48.
So second.
Was that you, Dave? Okay. Motion, Dave, second, Bill. Ted Marley,
Yes, sir.
you're up, sir.
So we have 3 new cruisers that are coming up, 2 patrol units and 1 admin vehicle. Both patrol cars are at $19,642 and the admin vehicle's at $7,424 for upfits. They're under state contract pricing, very similar to its competitor MHQ in pricing on whaling products. That's what the bid is for the waiver on those, to upfit those cruisers. Do you have questions for me on the upfits?
I just had a question. Some of the numbers are crossed out, new numbers underneath. I just
Yes,
wondering what that.
What they did is, they initially, when they gave me that bid, when you buy certain products from them, like lighting packages, what they did inadvertently is they added individual pricing of what came within that package as well. That's what the numbers are crossed out. He made a mistake in that. It's almost like charged twice for the same product, but it's a package that they buy, and then at that point, he charges for all the individual parts which was in that package. So that's why the numbers are crossed out, because I even questioned it was up to like 23,000. I'm like, this number off is compared to what we just did, and that's why. He looked at it again, he goes, oh, my apologies. Correct the pricing.
Good catch.
I'm sorry?
That was a good catch.
Yeah, well, when you're looking at numbers and you see them jump up that much in pricing, you want to question it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so actually, I did go back to last year's upfit, and coincidentally, it was 19.6 for each of the patrol vehicles. I mean, was that part of the negotiation or the discussion, or was that just coincidence?
I just noticed that too, is the price was very similar, yes.
Yeah.
But what happened is, the reason why it's so similar, because it's not much of a spread, because we couldn't get 2025s. We had to wait, it was pushed out longer, time we were able to get those pricing, so all the prices are very similar, because there's such a close span when we got both pricings on that. So
We just outfit the last car.
So we just got those new cars just now,
Okay.
so the pricing is similar.
Yeah. And then on the admin vehicle, I was just trying to look to see kind of what was in there, but there, you know, obviously, we're not gonna know all the technical items, but there are a couple of items that just you know, an SKU number and $500, or, I mean, or, you know, is there more of a description that's available on some of these things? So I'm looking at like, on the admin quote for 7/4/24/64,
Yeah.
like the third from the bottom, you know, just, what's that? You know.
The third from the bottom. I don't know exactly what that SKU number is. I would definitely have to find out what that actual SKU number is. A lot of times it's within packages. Just says here, it doesn't give me a description of what's being purchased, it just says SKU number.
And part of what I was doing, to be honest with you, I was looking just to see, again, year over year, are we pretty much ordering the same stuff? What's the pricing? But then,
And some of this stuff may change too. This is just the maximum price, because what happens is sometimes when we decommission a vehicle, we use parts from that vehicle, which sometimes raise prices as well. I don't know exactly what that number is. It's not, I'd have to look it up.
can you double check that that's not another error before?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. They're very good. I gotta be quite honest with you. They're very good. If something's wrong, they work with us day in and day out, and they fix whatever needs to be fixed and repaired. But I will definitely check on it.
Okay, fine, got it.
Just as a reminder to the board, we've used strobes and more for
Quite a few.
a number of years, so.
They're very thorough with their work. And whenever we have troubles with them, I can get, if you ever drive by the PD and you see a cruiser nosed in, usually within a day, it'll be fixed. If it has anything to do with work from like strobes and more, anything with the lighting packages, sometimes things fail, we can repair it. So they're very good to us over the years.
Lieutenant, did you say they were on the state bid list or are not, we're not on it?
All the winter parts are on state bid pricing for around, yes.
Good, thank you.
In Rhode Island.
Yeah, they give us state bid contract pricing from Rhode Island.
Okay. Perfect. Further questions? None? All right, all in favor of approving the bid waiver request, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, that unanimously passed. Thank you, Lieutenant. Yeah?
I have one more request. We have 3 cruisers. And this year, in our contract, and the chief and the administration, we've created assignments for the police department. And some of those assignments allows officers to travel. With that being said, it's very hard to send somebody to Hartford in a marked unit. We only have right now one unmarked vehicle in our fleet, because we've traded them in. And recently, we just gave another one to the town. The town has asked us, Nate has asked us in the highway department, if one would be available for the town to get, instead of trading it and giving it back to the town. As well as that being said, is we've had multiple assignments such as the digital forensic lab, which Officer Discordia is involved in, which he does a lot of traveling in from PDs to PDs, as well as our Joint Terrorism Task Force, which is Officer Page, where they're special assignments that are very difficult to drive around in marked units. And the vehicle that we have now that's still utilized as unmarked is the 2016 Ford with almost 100,000 miles on it, still usable. And the admin vehicle for trade is a 2018 Ford Taurus that the Detective Sergeant has now. We were looking at potentially, in your graces, if we could possibly retain those vehicles to be utilized for unmarked purposes.
What are we gonna do, Jim, here? We gotta add an agenda item? I'm not sure,
I'm not sure what your actual request is.
yeah.
To keep those vehicles back.
Yeah, it's basically, it was just, typically we do 3 cars, purchase 3 cars traded.
Yeah.
I think what we're looking to possibly do is retain 2 of the vehicles rather than trade them this year based on the demand for unmarked vehicles in the fleet.
Let me ask it, I guess let me ask it this way. Do you think there's gonna be a budgetary impact with keeping the 2 and not getting a trade-in? The trade-ins typically are pretty low dollar value.
That's the whole.
Our roughly trade-in is anywhere between $2,000 and $3,000 for a trade-in, depending on the type of vehicle as well. I mean,
So
that's
we're talking about, okay, so, Jim, do I need to add an,
I don't think so, I mean.
So we-
Agenda item?
You just don't have to trade it.
we just need to get a sense of the board, is all we're really asking for.
As long as there's no budgetary impact.
As long, yeah, if there's no budgetary impact
It should-
or minor, and you and the chief and you guys can work it out that, okay, for budgetary purposes, there's net zero delta to the town, then that's within your own budget and we're not gonna micromanage you guys.
If there is a negative impact, we're not going to do it anyway, because we can't afford to this time.
Right,
Around. So
yeah.
if there's any sense of that coming down, we're not going to proceed in that direction.
Can you clarify, so one of the vehicles is going over to the highway department, and the other you're retaining?
Yes, he's requested if we decided to trade one in, if they can.
What do they need, or what do they want, why do they?
I didn't ask what Nate needed it for. I didn't ask that. He
You
asked
want
if he could-
the Taurus, or not?
One of the Fords.
Yeah, I think the spare vehicle probably would be used both ways, be incorporated with town hall vehicles.
Yes.
We've had a couple of those with, I know they replaced them this year, but in the one that you left there,
Yep.
we had the old Taurus that we're gonna take off the books from internal auction, that auction. I think we're gonna try, get rid of those. So it provides another vehicle. We did the same thing, we recycled a trade-in Ford Ranger that was in the town vehicles, so that our other building maintainer could have a bigger truck. So we recycled that, so. And financially, I think it makes a lot more sense. Our mechanics can kind of keep them going, even though they have some miles on them, and for a net of $2,500 probably, or $3,000 on the trade, it gives an additional vehicle for the same thing. Somebody has to go to a training session, or our fields guys go someplace, and there's not enough trucks available because they're using them for work, there's a vehicle there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably a good move if there's a genuine need, but I mean, there is a cost, yeah, I mean, we're gonna insure 2 more vehicles, right, Jim? I mean, so that's gonna presumably be
Well, we're already insuring.
additional.
Pardon?
I mean, we're gonna retain 2 more vehicles now on insurance, right?
If that, it would be negligible impact.
Really? Okay, so, yeah, so, yeah, I mean, again, in theory, it sounds good, I just wanna make sure that
Yeah,
the demand is there, that we're not just keeping these around.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, if we have our guys working on them, our mechanics, I feel we have a savings there. I mean, all their labor's paid for, they pay for other things, but if they can come in quick and they just need a couple of tires, or they need shocks, or they need simple repairs like that, we do them in-house,
Yeah.
and we get it back on the road without, if we send it to a shop, it would get ridiculous at $100 an hour or whatever they're gonna charge there. Then, like you say, it's definitely in there.
Okay.
Is this something that's just recently come up, where these people need vehicles to get around to certain places? Or is something new?
The town hall factor, I think it's been the need for a while, probably the last 4 or 5 budget years. This has been brought up a few different times. Now, there were probably the training sessions, and just like I'm sure for you guys, we were sending people out of town quite a bit. Sometimes our guys take their own vehicles and they put in for reimbursement, or they don't. So we kind of don't like that idea of them having to use their own personal vehicles to go take the training.
So the need has been there, they've just been using their own vehicles?
Sometimes,
In a lot of
yes.
cases.
And then we always try to recycle a vehicle coming off the town hall. When I say town hall, it's for like the tax assessor, P&Z, it could be the deputy assessor uses them. So they kind of shuffle them around, and now we've got a couple of the PD vehicles, which made life a lot better. So if 2 people have to go out at the same time. Same thing with the building officials. We kind of cycled, I think the one that Larry was using is now being used by the temporary individual. So it's kind of a musical thing there, but I think it's a good investment because we already own them. If we had to go out and try to buy them used, they would say no. But it's a good decision.
They retain all the equipment on the vehicle, the light, or those come off, or how do you?
Usually typically when they go to the town hall, the lighting packages come out.
It's good down.
They get stripped. We put back together, we have the seats and everything else that go back.
We did that last year for the building official.
Yes.
One of the vehicles came and it was completely stripped, and now the building official uses it to do their inspections. So,
They're all decommissioned and
yep.
made for the normal vehicle.
Is there anything you can do with that stuff?
A lot of times we do, and that's what I mentioned before, a lot of times some of them parts, lighting, so forth and so on can come out of those vehicles, and then it's taken out of the bids that you see here today. Some of the lights that come out of them can be replaced by some of the lighting packages that they have in here as well.
That's good.
So that's why when I mentioned that sometimes those numbers get lower, that's because they reuse the parts that are on
That's
there.
right.
But I have to show that in case those parts are damaged, they can't reuse them anymore, I have to be able to show this is what would cost maximum.
Okay, thank you.
So just, we're talking about retaining a vehicle for the town plus a vehicle for the police department. So 2.
So it'd be instead of
Yeah.
the 3 trades, we
Right.
would, 1 for the town and 2 more for the people.
Well, I know that some of the town vehicles are pretty tired, like the sedans, I think those are, and I know that the truck the building official had been driving was pretty tired. No, if you can reuse assets that have a minimal value like that, why not do it?
They don't usually give you a lot of money for them.
It's starting to, it's moving the wrong direction for us, right? Used cars, we're getting good money now. For whatever reason, they're giving us very little on the trading value.
Any other questions on this? Because we don't have an action item here, but I think as long as there's no budgetary impact, that really the Board of Finance isn't going to stand in the way of doing this asset transfer, right, Jim?
Yeah, it's just,
It's,
at the police chief's discretion of
Yeah.
the vehicles they're trading with, as long as the money's in the budget to cover their acquisitions.
right. So inherently, I have not heard from any board members that they have an opposition to this proposal, given the dollar values you're talking about for the trade-in values. And Brian's right, we used to have, trade-ins were a lot better than what it is now, what you're talking about. So I think that the sense of the board is that supportive of you, given that there's no budgetary implications. If it comes out that there is,
We'd be done,
you guys come back and we gotta figure it out.
absolutely.
Any other comments, questions? Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. Next item on the agenda is additional appropriation discussion request. We have none. Next item is year-end line item transfer request for fiscal 24-25. Now, before I ask for any kind of motion here, there's a difference between what was said in the agenda and what was said in the letter. In the letter, it was requested for a additional appropriation from SIP. What is on the agenda item is an additional line item transfer.
Should I say that again?
What was in the letter from Clifton was an additional appropriation from the undesignated fund balance. What's on the item, on the agenda item is a line item transfer.
Well, they were written by two different people, I wrote the so it's going to be a line item transfer.
Okay.
The town planner has 30,000 left in his 24-25 operational budget, and he'd like to transfer 14,000 of that into SIP for the purchase of equipment.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we're doing accounting-wise the right thing. Okay. So can I get a motion to approve a line item transfer request from the town planner for $14,157 as noted in the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Motion, Bill, was that you, Chris?
Yes.
Second, Chris. All right, Clifton, discussion.
So, in addition to.
We can hear you from back there if you want to.
I've just got to pass these out.
Okay.
In addition to what was in the memo, I got some additional quotes as well, because when requested I did. So I got 3 total firms just in case. But the long and the short of it, as Roger partially alluded to, was that we've combined the planning and building departments into the Department of Land Use and added 2 more people physically into space.
Jim, I got 2, so if you need one.
Don't have the,
Okay, okay.
we don't have the room to accommodate. And so what I'm looking to do is replace our existing large format plotter scanner that we bought, I want to say 5 or so years ago, with a new plotter scanner that I can move around and fit in the space appropriately. So that's the larger cost item. The second item is SmartBoard, which is just the same SmartBoards that they use at the school. But what that allows us to do is digitally sign our plans, or a zoning enforcement officer and building official can digitally sign plans and scale them appropriately as opposed to printing them out, scanning them, and then throwing them away. So the 3 quotes I got you are for 2 different formats of the printer. The only thing I would point out is the one from Joseph Merritt is the only one that offers a buyback option on our existing plotter scanner. And they're just 2 different items, but both will work the same for the department. So happy to answer any questions.
I'm a little confused on the, so it seems like there's 2 quotes from Merit, one for the 2,600, another for the 3,600, but the trade-in, the difference is the value of the trade-in between those 2. So what's going on there?
So according to them, we would get a higher trade-in value if you got the bigger model. I think that's just part of their pricing structure, their rebate structure. They didn't really explain to me why.
Okay, so are you asking for the 2,600 then, or the 3,600?
I would say the 3,600 because you get the most bang for your buck in terms of a larger format printer and a higher rebate for the existing, for the cost difference of $375 extra.
Yeah, I don't know where you're getting the 26.
On this first,
First page, there's a,
yeah, there's 2.
It's a 12,125
Yeah,
versus
that's what I put them together.
12,500.
3,600.
Oh, you're talking model number.
Model number.
Model number.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the pricing and I'm going, I'm not. Yeah, model number,
Right,
okay.
yeah, the
I'm with
the
you,
price
I'm
is
with you
within a
now,
few
Mike.
$100, but I'm just trying to, it's
Yeah.
saying that the trade-in suddenly worth many thousand dollars.
I'm with you.
So for an extra $300, you get a much better, more capable machine, right?
Yeah.
Higher capacity.
Is it, I guess the only question I would have there, though, is, you know, my experience with printers is they might as well give you them for free because it's all about the ink and, you know, everything. So if you go with the higher, you know, the 3600 is our, you know, ongoing, you know, maintenance and ink or whatever, you know, are going to be twice the amount as it would have been for the, you know, the 2600.
The 3600 has a higher capacity, so when you purchase the ink, it's going to be more expensive up front than in the smaller version. But we typically don't use this for the print feature, we use it for the scan feature. Because when applicants or developers bring in their plans to be signed, they come in the 24 by 36 format, stamped and signed. Or in the form, when they get recorded at the town clerk's office, they come in the format of Mylars. And so we need to scan and digitize those to basically keep up with putting them online so we can access them on the server or through Laserfiche. And then we need to digitize them for the town clerk as well for storage. So the main need for the printer is actually for the scanning feature, not for the printing feature. We don't typically use it that much. Sometimes engineering and DPW uses it to print out plans that they develop, or sometimes members of the public will ask for full-scale models or full-size plan sets that we will print out for them for a cost, but we typically don't print that often.
People still use microfiche? Mylars?
Yep. Yeah, we have to. It's a requirement statutorily.
That's
I
unbelievable.
have a question. Reading through this, main reason why you want to buy a new printer is you can't take the old one out from where it is.
Correct. Yep, so the existing...
Where are you going to place this new printer?
The new one's lighter and on wheels, and we can move it around in the space. The existing one, the model that we bought 5 or 6 years ago, according to the walk around that I did with Tom, the building official, prior to consolidating the departments, the reason that the printer is in its current location, or the large format printer is in its current location, is because it's sitting on top of the vault, which is the structurally the most sound place for it to be. And it has to be leveled and ballast for the toner that's used in the printer so it doesn't jostle around. These new printers are using ink, so it doesn't need to necessarily be level, and it can move around and be on wheels, so it's not physically stuck in a location.
So this one actually still works?
It still works. It just takes up more space that we don't have the capacity to move the personnel around the office.
So it's kind of more of a convenience factor for the employees to go ahead and use this new printer and be able to...
It's a convenience factor. It's also an efficiency factor because we don't have this current space. Currently, I have one admin personnel sitting in front of the old building official's office because we are waiting to hire a director for the department. And so they're kind of actually blocking the doorway, but since we're not using that office at this time, it's not an issue for us. But eventually, when we hire a director, we'll need to have somebody be able to move in and out of that office space, which means I have to relocate that admin individual.
So what'll happen to this printer that's on top of the vault?
Well, so if I utilize the quote from Merit, they'll do a buyback option, in which case that they will take the printer away, the current one, and replace it with the one that we're purchasing.
How are they able to take it away when you guys couldn't move it?
We can't move it. When it was originally installed 5 or 6 years ago or so, it was done by the professional company who installed it.
Okay.
It has to be done on a stable environment, like Cliff was saying. It's over a vault. So any vibrations, it's mitigated. It's heavy. It's not going to give us any problems structurally for the building. And it can't be moved. Nobody in our organization can move it. It has to be done by the professionals because it has to be configured properly.
You couldn't have somebody, wouldn't it be cheaper to have somebody move that?
Avoid the warranty or any kind of service contract we have? No, it wouldn't be cheaper.
No.
It's too heavy, it needs to be, you wouldn't be able to put it anyplace but where the vault is, because it's too heavy to put anyplace else in the office.
And
Okay.
Joseph Merritt is they service the this KIP brand normally, so they're used to the model that we're providing, which we are providing the buyback. So that's why they're interested in taking it, because they can redistribute and sell it, and they're used to maintaining these items.
So is that, what you're gonna get back in money, is that included? Is it gonna
Correct,
be
that's included
minus
in
this,
the
or
quote
it's
from-
included in this?
Yeah.
What they said they were gonna give you for the parts and whatever?
Yep.
And the gains in space and office area, by moving this older machine out and getting the replacement that Clifton is looking at, is huge. We don't have a lot of room in town hall, and this older machine required us to have it literally in the middle of the room, so the service people can walk all the way around it and have the ability to service it, because you literally can't move it. With the one they're looking at, you can roll it against the wall and move it away real easily if they need to do any kind of servicing on it. So we're going to gain back a complete office desk space for another person, and just getting rid of this one unit.
Just for comparison, the two models that are provided are half the size of the one that we currently have. So that adds a huge space efficiency, especially in a department where we're adding 2 more people that haven't historically been there. So we're already space constrained as it is.
And the whiteboard is gonna increase efficiency?
Correct. So when either the building official or primarily the zoning enforcement officer has to sign plans to be for a building permit or a zoning permit to be developed, she has to scale and size the full-size plans. So usually the developer or the applicant will bring in a 24 by 36 scanned set of documents that she just has to physically stamp and sign, and then scan it into the system using the printer. And then after she does that, she throws it away. So if we had a smart board or something that could scale that size plane digitally, she can digitally stamp and sign the document, kind of like you would a PDF, and then upload it to OpenGov, as she currently does, just without the waste of paper. So if that's more of an efficiency that we can do. We would put it in our existing conference room so that when we have people come in for meetings, they can also pull up slideshows, they can pull up presentations, they would be able to pull up the plan sets themselves with either myself, the zoning enforcement officer, or the building official. And so we can look at everything at a full-size scale without throwing down the paper. So it adds a little bit of efficiency in terms of cutting out staff hours, in terms of stamping, scanning, signing, and throwing away. I think it adds a little bit of efficiency. This model I got from Roger, which is the one that the school uses. So it would match everything that the school.
Thank you for that explanation. Thank you for the explanation.
The smart board's 65 inches. So, I mean, it's not insignificant. It's not a tablet.
No,
It's huge.
It's huge.
So we're talking about replacing a plotter that's 5 years old, which baffles me as an engineer that you've got a plotter that's 5 years old that you can't move. It's got to be leveled. And now we're talking about a 65-inch display that's huge, putting into a small area. Been up in that conference room many a time. We're not throwing good money after bad here, are we? I mean, that's the size we really need. Roger, are there any efficiencies with having compatibility with the school?
Not really. I mean, we'll want to use what they use only because it's same model, same brand. If there's something that goes wrong, we need to call, Rick or Chris across the street. Maybe they have an answer for us quicker than call support. That's really the efficiency there. The models that they have, they don't come in small sizes. They're like 55, 65 inch anyway. They're like, what's behind you? Like,
Right, yeah.
literally. And the space, yeah, it will take up the entire wall, but it will fit on the wall with the right amount.
It will fit on the wall, though. We're not going to be cutting out drywall to make it fit in.
Is there any chance the school's got one that they're not using? Did they?
I was going to say, we got a whole Mistuxet school.
I can talk to Chris, see if they have anything that's really within a few years old, because the reality is anything that they've used at maybe 3 to 4 years old, and after his 5 years, installed.
Yeah.
A lot of the manufacturers of hardware we're running into won't support anything past 5 years anymore anyway. We don't want to put something into production in our environment that's already 3 or 4 years old, that we have to then replace after 2 because it's not supported.
Those boards at the school also get a lot of use out of them, so they lose the touch capacity faster than we likely would, because we're not going to be tapping on them constantly. It would just be to scale plans, do our measurements, make sure everything's meeting code requirements, and then it'd be simple signatures on it.
We don't need any other infrastructure, no other server, computer, something.
Nothing that we can't handle within our current operating budget.
Yeah, I agree. I just was asking the question about the school because, I mean, just given all the changes they've gone through, I mean, there could have been a situation or scenario whereby they got some lying around because they over-ordered at one point in time. So I'm not suggesting that you get, kind of one of their hand-me-downs are broken, but do they have something that they just never put up because of all the changes they've been through in their space?
Look like one table with that, so the next time I can ping Chris Wilson to see if they have something in stock that they get to install, that might be
Yeah,
nice.
no harm in asking the question, yeah. And the only other question I had was just in the materials that we got in advance of the meeting, there was also, towards the back, some information about a KIP 800 printer.
That's the current one, the KIP.
Oh, that's what you got right now, okay.
So that's the one that we use. I use that as because of the image, you can see the size difference between the two. I mean, this thing is honestly big, right?
Okay, all right.
Do you have some sense of how many square feet you're gonna gain in terms of usable space? Or space that can be used for other things?
Depth of the unit, so.
Maybe give you kind of an idea of the space you gain. It's about the size of this table, okay?
Yeah.
And you have to walk all the way around this side, the front.
Oh, because of where it's
You
located.
have drawers that come out about to here.
Yeah, I was gonna say the drawers, that's a
And then you
silly
have
old idea.
this much space behind it that we're required to have so it can be serviced.
Okay, all
The
right.
new model is just the size of the table and the rolls stack on top of each other vertically. And so when you open the shield, you can just pop one out and pop
And
it back.
it can roll against the wall?
Yep, it can roll back up against the wall.
Right.
That's essentially what we have at my shop. And they're very compact and, I mean, if you guys are just using it for scanning, I don't know why we got one in the past that had drawers. But
At the time it was determined they wanted to have multiple paper rolls, sizes.
I understand, Roger.
Yeah, DPW engineering ever expanded its scope on what they wanted to develop in-house, then there would be a utility for having something to be able to print out the plans at full size. Historically, they haven't used it that often, but if that ever changed, having that capacity is helpful. But for us, 90% of the work into it is going to be a scan in the future.
Given what I'm hearing from Clifton, I would be willing to support the 2600, to Mike's point of model numbers, because I don't think the bigger one, even though it's $300, roughly $300 and $375 more, I don't think it offers any advantage. Hearing what I'm hearing, you're going to be scanning, and that's what we've transitioned to. I haven't even powered mine on in 5 years. To be honest, we're sending PDFs out, not, we're doing the design work. Now, you guys have different constraints. I understand that. I'm not trying to say you don't, in that requirements for, let's say DPW or you guys, you need to be able to print something out. But I mean, the whole technology push is moving beyond printing paper drawings. I can bring a tablet with me to the machine shop and show them exactly what I need faster than I can printing it out.
I agree, I'm an old guy, I love paper, but it's thing with that,
I'm an old guy and I love paper too, and my dad beat it in my head that I needed paper for everything. But at some point, there's a transition period, and I hate to say that, but that's why the scanning on both of them is the same, the footprint is the same, it seems the ability to handle the size prints are the same for 99% of what you're doing, or 90%, whatever you want to round it to. I think the cheaper one is probably the way to go. Because we don't need everything you're telling me, from an engineer's standpoint, we don't need the bigger capacity. I know it sounds like not a lot of money, but it's money. I'd rather save it. But I'm open to other suggestions or feelings from the rest of the board.
Yeah, I've been trying to compare the technical specs here, and it almost seems like the same printer with more, more storage for paper and ink and a higher maintenance cost potentially. So, or more things that could go wrong. So, yeah, I mean, certainly what Tim's saying is kind of resonate. It's also lighter. The 2600 is more easily moved around. It seems like looks like it's. I was looking at the weight a minute ago, but it was noteworthy. 300 versus 448. Oh no, sorry. The printer, 229 pounds versus 340 pounds. So yeah, so you're talking almost, over 100 pound difference.
I would defer to your knowledge.
Chris?
Oh, honestly, I don't really care which printer he gets. I'm in support of the line item transfer though.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get down in the weeds about trying to decide which one is
So,
better suits their needs.
Bill and Chris, can you modify your line item transfer request? Because I think what we said was maybe we'll table the smart board until next month when, Roger, you've had a chance to talk to Chris and just see if there's any economies there or something that is not a 3-year-old one, but something that they may be able to offer to help. And if not, then come back for that. So we're looking at the $12,125 for the Joe Merritt for the 2600 one. Is that everyone? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So Bill, do you want to modify your motion?
Sure, what am I modifying it to?
You're approving the line item transfer to $12,125.
Sure, I will make a motion to.
Chris,
approve
you
the line
okay
item
seconding
transfer.
that again?
I do second, yep.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on this? Okay, all in favor of approving that line item transfer request, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, that unanimously passes. Jim, you got all that?
I did.
Okay. All right, next is request from Director of Finance for fiscal 24-25 year-end line item transfers. Can I get a motion to approve the request as submitted in our packet?
So moved.
Is that you, Bill?
Yes.
Motion,
Second.
Bill.
Second.
Second, Dave. All right, discussion.
All right, so that's just to close out the year, and some accounts that, or really departments that went over budget, just moving money around to cover deficits, because we don't have a deficit in the financial statements in the department, so it's just shuffling around, because no monetary effect of the overall budget. Maybe has any questions about why we're transferring money where, so answer them.
I had one and I gotta find it. The fire dispatch, $809 into that.
That's just they increased their yearly fee after we had already budgeted for it.
Okay.
Dispatch fee, that's the dispatch.
The rest are just Was the Charter Revision Commission, the 5,500,
Yeah, that was legal fees, yeah.
so it just was higher than anticipated?
I think they asked for some, anticipating most of the legal fees would be in this year,
Okay,
but they got pushed up into 24, 25.
okay. Are there any other questions?
Well, no, go ahead. I have another question, but it doesn't, it kind of has something to do with this, but it kind of doesn't either. I know who you are. Stay on target. It does have, well, let me say what it is. Blunt White asked, maybe you know about this, Jim, to give him, if he had any information about the unencumbered funds that we may have. It was up through, what was the date? It was, how many
Okay,
months?
that doesn't apply to this motion and this
No, it
line
doesn't.
item transfer.
No.
So let's finish this motion. Hearing no more discussion, all in favor of approving the line item transfer as requested, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, that's unanimously passed. Dave, now confused us.
Now, Blunt had asked for this information, Jim gave it to him, up through, you know how he's always asking for, you know, what's the actual money that wasn't spent, and what do we actually have that he wants it back. Well, Jim had given him information.
He didn't ask for that, he asked for the detailed schedule of the WPCA and Board of Ed financial schedules in the, that would be in the audit report. Which I do have, if you're asking.
It was for the budget reconciliation. And you had sent him back
When, how long ago?
just this week, a couple days ago. Trying to find it here in my emails.
All right, let's stay to the agenda then.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
Right.
Yeah, I just wanted, I wanted to bring it up.
We're gonna
I thought-
go down a wormhole that is gonna take a little bit.
Yeah,
to figure out.
that's okay. I
We
just,
can have an offline conversation to make sure
sounds good.
that works. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the approval of previous minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the August 6, 2025 regular meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Mike, second Chris. Any addenda changes?
Yeah, I did have one. I'm trying to find the minutes. Jim,
Hold on,
but-
while I find my minutes here, my papers were mixed up.
See, Tom, Jim still uses paper too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big paper, I'm a paper hoarder, actually. All right, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Nice job, Jim. I think you captured these very well. And but yeah, simple one up top. You got acting chairman, me, and I think that was a carryover from the prior meeting.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Tim was at that.
I was actually.
But otherwise, it looked good to me.
Any other changes, corrections? All right, all in favor of approving those minutes as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain?
I'm abstaining because I wasn't here.
You don't have to, you know that.
Yeah, but that's okay, I wasn't here.
Yep.
so.
Okay. All right. Next, correspondence. We got an email from a resident requesting funding for the transportation to the Magnet School in New London. And then later this afternoon, if you did not see it, we got an email from a resident requesting to not fund the transportation to the Magnet School in New London. That was the one you sent out late this afternoon, Jim.
Oh, they were requesting not to?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't read that close.
Yeah,
So-
one in each direction.
Just so I'm clear, Tim, the email this afternoon looked like we were interested in not funding charter buses? Is there a difference between charter buses and buses to magnet schools?
Yes.
Okay,
There's,
typo.
okay.
you can, go ahead.
I don't want to interject.
No, go ahead. No, please.
No, I sent the email because I reviewed the agenda and saw that someone was opposed. As a parent who was very involved in the budget funding for the schools, I understand difficult decisions are being made, and I think the Board of Finance made a difficult decision by cutting the funding, but I think that there's children in Stonington who are going without in certain areas, and I think if someone wants to send their child to a charter school or magnet school, if that's the term, in New London, then they can coordinate someone on their own dime and on their own time and keep the money that is scarce in Stonington with the kids who have selected to be in the Stonington community.
Okay.
I was in support of the cut, and I was here tonight to make sure that that was known.
But the VOAG schools have to be provided transport.
And the,
And-
Grasso Tech,
And Grasso Tech.
by state.
So those by state statute have to be provided. Magnet schools, to where my kids went, do not have to be provided by state statute. So there are some out-of-school district busings that are mandated.
Okay.
You have to do it no matter what. There are some that it is up to the towns to decide whether they do it or not. And it's just a difference in the type of schools.
Well,
And that's entirely on the purview of the Board of Education, not the Board of Finance.
thank you, Tim. I just wanted the clarification on charter versus magnet.
It gets complicated in terminology,
But the-
basically VOAG and tech trade, like Grasso Tech, you have to, and
I don't believe they're a charter or a magnet school, though.
No, they're not.
Okay,
That's where the difference comes in, and I don't remember, I'm not gonna speak to this, but I think NFA also, we would have to bust to NFA. But I can't remember, don't hold me to that. But there is a group of magnets that do not fall under that.
Anecdotally, in reviewing this very detailed during the Board of Ed and funding, I looked at dollars that were being spent by Stonington I went through almost everything, and there was significant funding, interestingly enough, to libraries, about 400,000 between Noank and Westerly. Again, not against libraries, but I found it humorous to some degree that we cut funding, Board of Ed cut funding to the library in Stonington Public School, elementary schools, but still is spending double to Noank and Westerly. Again, not against reading, but again, when we have to prioritize dollars. It was interesting that some of it was regulated by, I think, certain curriculum, like if it was a special service or a certain disability or something that other schools could provide versus like marine science or music or something, but I'm not an expert. So that was why I sent the correspondence so that nothing was changed and, again, affecting kids who are choosing to be in.
We have no ability to change that.
Yeah.
right, this is not,
We give them a bottom line and they pick where they're
Yeah,
gonna
it was
spend
their
it. So, and I've had that fight with them when I was a parent and not on the Board of Finance.
Yeah, I understand.
And it's very frustrating sitting in front of a board and they won't reply. So I at least wanted to have a conversation because I think it's more productive if we can.
Agreed, yeah,
But if I had 50 people in the room,
yeah,
you can't do that.
no, I
So.
get that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, liaison reports, SIP liaison, there should be
reports.
anything. WPCA, there is no report. Board of Ed, there is no report at this time. The longest acronym liaison,
There is a report for that. It's very brief. It's moving along at lightning speed. I don't know if anybody's driven by over there to see what they've done. But footing concrete will be poured this Thursday. That's for the house, I believe. Yes, for the house. Foundation walls will be installed next Tuesday. House will be moved back onto its new foundation on the 15th. The new boathouse structure will begin to be delivered and installed will begin 9/25. New boathouse will take 6 to 8 weeks to construct. Infill of the site and site utility work will continue through October and November. So they're going at lightning speed. And we had discussion last night about, the big deal now is how are they going to prioritize who can use this facility? Because the town has their part, the rowing community has their part. And there aren't, one of the problems is there's no, hardly any parking.
There's no.
23 spaces, I think, so that's gotta all be worked out, they've gotta come up with a, a listing of, if one group wants to do it, and they gotta make it so you don't have two groups there at once, so it's, and I asked the question, do they think they're gonna have to hire someone to do this? And they said they might, and so we'll have to see how that goes, but it's really amazing how fast they're, and they're still fundraising. They got a couple of big donations since they started actually doing something. So it's pretty impressive, really. After 10 years, all these people have been working so hard. Now it's come to fruition.
And Danielle was adamant that it's done by November, so she can be at the ribbon cutting.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
Thanks, Dave. Grants manager report is quarterly, and I
Yeah,
think we're not
I
at,
just talked to her today, so you'll be getting one next month,
okay,
next meeting.
okay. Any other liaison reports, Mike?
Oh, yeah, I just heard from Cindy, our tax collector, yesterday. She just said that tax collections are right on target, consistent with last August. Real estate at 53.46%, personal property at 59.29%, and motor vehicle at 92.88%. So, and I had the numbers from last year. Yeah, I mean, it's within like a tenth of a percentage point. So, things are humming along smoothly from a tax collection perspective.
Excellent. Any other reports from anyone?
So from the Climate Change Task Force, we are manning a table at the Velvet Mill, the farmer's market this Saturday from 9 to noon, promoting the town's composting program. So we will be there with materials and interacting with residents.
Is that new compo? I thought.
Yeah, the new composting program that they put in place with Black Earth, in coordination with Black Earth.
Okay.
They have a collection bin at the town transfer station where you can deposit food waste, and they also have compostable bags that you can buy. Jill has those at the solid waste department. And if you can't make it to the transfer station, they also have a pickup program, but it's a pay-for program. But the first people that sign up for it get a discount.
That's the difference, that we tried the pilot program,
Right, yeah.
and that was discontinued.
Yep.
So I think that's what you were.
Well, yeah, right. I knew we discontinued it, so I was
Yeah.
I was curious what the new.
It's a new partnership.
Yeah.
And this time, the food waste is actually going toward making compost, so that's the good news.
Where was it going before?
Yeah, what happened?
It was bio energy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. All right, any other reports? Hearing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Can I just mention that one thing very quickly that was sent to Blunt? It's the schedule of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance, budget, and actual. And this is as of 7/25/2025. And I think this is something that probably should send out to everybody on the committee.
Why don't you?
Those are just two schedules that are gonna be in the audit.
Right, but it's,
The problem is the timing of the audit. Why don't
Yeah.
you, Jim and I have a conversation about it?
okay.
And this is a year over year.
I know,
request,
I know.
as you well know.
Right, and he got some information from Jim, so it's interesting information up through June, end of June, where we are as far as what's been over, what's actual and what was actually budgeted for. It's positive, it's good. I guess it's like that pretty much every year. People budget.
It has been for a while, but it's not every year.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing, I guess, that.
Yeah, because it helps the general fund.
Yeah.
Doesn't their
it's-
fund balance.
It's
fund
better
balance.
than the other way around.
What's that, Bill?
It's
Been here
better
from the
than the
other
other way
Oh,
around.
yeah, yeah, that's for sure. I think it's good information maybe for the members.
Well, it's all contained in the audit report once we get that.
Yeah, you'll get all that information eventually, all.
Oh, that's the bone of contention.
Yeah,
But it takes a lot, correct? So,
it takes a while, and the auditors there's fewer and fewer.
yeah.
So that becomes the real problem, is there's only about two, Jim, correct? maybe 1.5.
There are a few boutique ones that still do this, but not down, who service this part of the state.
Right. So,
But it was good news, what
yeah.
Jim had sent him.
All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Bill, second, Chris. All right, having no more business before the board, we are adjourned.